Hello and welcome to the Empowered by Design podcast. I am your host, Dr. Liz, and we are here on 808 for season 10 of the Empowered by Design podcast. I am so excited to be with you here for this episode for this season, which will be the final season of the Empowered by Design podcast. Ooh, as I say that, I am so excited. I am sad. And we're going to talk about all of the different emotions that come up when we talk about endings. As you know, I am a love and relationship specialist. I'm a therapist. I'm a psychologist. I do lots of things and have lots of fun doing lots of things. And one of the things that I have learned throughout my training and my work and my schooling and experience in life is that saying goodbye is not fun. As humans, we don't love it. And so sometimes we drag it out. We don't end relationships when they should be ended sometimes. And it's who we are. It is a human experience. And for me, as you have heard me authentically come on this podcast over the past four years, I'm counting, 4.5 years, I started the podcast. The first episode dropped in February of 2021. And I am so proud of this. I'm so proud of this podcast. And I'm very excited to have a beautiful, beautiful farewell tour as we end this. Stay tuned. Welcome to the podcast, Empowered by Design. I'm your host, Dr. Liz, a licensed psychologist and owner of Visionistas by Design Wellness Boutique in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. This podcast is about the power of connection and a proactive approach to mental health and overall wellness. It's about finding and owning your power right now and using it for good by nurturing the connection of body, mind, heart, soul, and spirit. Empowered by Design podcast delivers psychological concepts and practical strategies with a real-life approach, designed to empower health and wellness, optimal performance, authentic connection with yourself and others, and purposeful, joyful living. Be well, live empowered, dream, design, deliver. What I'm going to start with in this episode is angel number 808. It is 808. Usually my podcasts come out on Thursdays, and it is a Friday, 808. If you've been around here, then you know a little bit about the 808 energy. A few years ago, I was in the thralls of my spiritual awakening, my spiritual journey, coming home to myself, coming home to my authenticity. And 808 was a number that had a lot of significance around the period of time in 2022, I believe. Yeah. I'm terrible with years. I need to go back and think, how old were my kids? That's how I remember timelines. So in 2022, 808 came up as just a lot of 808 was a representative of a movement in my business. I get grand ideas. I get so much energy around things. And usually, because I also love to jump in and do things, sometimes people would call it impulsively, and sometimes it is. And sometimes it's hits right on the mark, and other times it's like, not so much. And I'm okay with that. So one of the things I've learned about myself through the years is that I love to try a lot of new things. And I also don't love to continue them all. You can't. I have so many ideas and so much energy for trying new things. And that is who I am. That is a part of my personality. And I have come to, rather than look at that as a negative, always, right? Because there's a fine line when we can identify aspects of our personality that can be strengths. Sometimes when they are out of balance, they can also be a weakness or an area for growth. And so there have been times in my life when others have given me feedback that maybe they didn't love how much I would quit things. I've been called a quitter, as you know, if you've been here. Welcome back. Thank you for being here. And there's also what I've learned much more recently is a positive aspect of that, of how to reframe that. That came from my lovely friend Angie, alchemist, who you know. And she is an Enneagram coach and also incorporates human design and Enneagram personality typing into her coaching. I am so lucky and fortunate and blessed that we're besties. So we talk to each other and we're like sharing things and we share perspective with each other. And it has helped me grow so much in my life, in my business, and in my relationships for sure. Angie helped me to see that through my human design, which I'm a 3-1 projector, I still am learning what all of what that means. I'm an Enneagram 4, and sometimes I think I'm an Enneagram 7, but we think that's a subtype. If that, we know I have a lot of 7 energy. If you're familiar with those, if not, check out Angie's podcast called Enneagram Ego Death. It's brilliant, and you will learn so much about the Enneagram. You can even listen. She's been on the podcast before. I will link one of her very first episodes here on the Empowered by Design podcast in the show notes, where we talk about the Enneagram. And so you can get a little glimpse into it here, and then you can listen to it on her podcast as well. She helped me to understand that my personality and my human design collide in a way beautifully that I like to try things on in order to really understand if they are for me, if they light me up and they sustain energy over a period of time, then I know they're for me. And not everything does. But in order for me to know that, I have to try it out. Where other people can just see something and be like, no, I don't want to play the piano. I'm good. I don't need to play the guitar or try to learn it. I don't need to do this or that, where I've taken on pursuits where I'm like, ooh, that sounds amazing. Let me try it. And there have been some things that have been wonderful and my energy has persisted. And other things that it's like, okay, I tried that for a bit of time and I loved this about it. I didn't love this about it. And I've had to navigate, is this something that I'm going to continue investing my energy into? Because I'm also learning as a projector, we can get fatigued with our energy. We pour so much into what we do because we're so passionate about it, and there's other reasons that we can feel drained more quickly than other people. And so again, I'm learning more about human design. I would encourage you. I have another friend, Ben, who's also becoming a human design expert. So I'm learning about it on all different levels. And as you know, when I learn something, I pass it along to you, because that I'm also knowing about myself that is an aspect of why I am here, is to help and lift others up, lift the vibration up and celebrate all the things, so that we are raising the vibration of this planet, of this collective together. And so I will continue to, throughout this season and beyond, because even though this season is ending, you have not seen or heard the last of me. I will continue to share what I learn. I love learning lessons. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm always trying to learn new things and then share them because I get so excited about them. So 808 energy is something that then once that came to me, it's stuck around. So when I see 808 wherever it is, if it's on the side of the highway, if it's on a license plate, if it's on anything, I know that for me it's a message of, you're on the right path, girl. Keep going, doing your thing. So I am going to read 808 for us from my Angel Numbers book by Mystic Michaela, which you know I love, and I love to share it with you. There is an episode specifically called, well, I won't know the name or the title because that's another thing that's not in my zone of genius, is remembering specific titles of things, but I will link it in the show notes. It's something around 808 angel number, your 808 angel number message. So I'm going to share it with you again, because one of the things that I do love to do in my life is I love to be surprised. I love to open up a book, open up this book, look at the angel number, read it, make meaning of it with you, for ourselves, for each other, for the world. And I love to be able to take something and offer my perspective, but invite you to make your own meaning of it. There are so many things in this world that we can do that with, and so many instruments. You can look at a tree and examine the leaf pattern and talk to it and feel it. And you can do that with so many things that it's fun to try it with lots of new things. So today we will be reading angel number 808 and making meaning of it. And I will then be talking about a little bit about what to expect this season. Although, some of it I don't even know because I don't love to plan, but I just love to come on and be with the energy that is here. And so right now I am lit up. I am excited, and I'm going to read this, and then we're going to go from there. So 808, rejoice, rejoice. The foundation for your future is here. The angels celebrate you. You are self-aware and focused on personal growth. The road has not always been easy, but you took control of your response to it. The habits you've formed are foundational for your future. Do something special for yourself today in celebration of all you've accomplished. Oh, I love that so much. I love it so much. This has meaning for us right now. It had meaning for me a couple of years ago and throughout. I'm going to talk about what comes up for me and share that with you, invite you to make meaning of it yourself. We're going to pause and take a breath right now together. I invite you to check in with yourself as we slow down. I can feel my energy, right, coming into a more focused space. It will get excited again. And the impact, the importance, the significance of having tools, having strategies, but also having lifestyle to be able to come to the present moment, to be with your emotions, your physical sensations, your spiritual energy, and to notice what it's sharing with you. Notice what you're experiencing in this moment, in your body, in your mind, thoughts, ideas that are coming up, in your heart, emotional energy that you are carrying with you, without labeling it, right? So being mindful in a way, without judging, without calling it good or bad, without saying this is positive or negative, I don't want this, I want this, but noticing what's happening for you here. When we notice and have awareness in this moment, we can learn and listen and receive so very much, so much depth, so much inspiration, clarity, empowerment. Check in with your soul, that aspect that is your essence at your core. I always touch right in the center of my body where our solar plexus chakra lies, that yellow, passionate energy that lights us up from the sun and directs our path, our soul path. And check in with your spirit. So that aspect of energy that is connected, interconnected with body, mind, heart, and soul, and also connects us with the beyond. It connects us with other people who are physically with us or spiritually with us, not physically present, but present somewhere in the realm of life and beyond. I love that. I have become more embracing of my own ability to connect with spiritual energy here, physically and beyond. And we will talk about that in this season. We will talk about some of those experiences. Some of them you've already heard. And because it's coming up right now, I will share with you a message that is, if you have a gift, if you have, we all do, we all do. When you have a gift, use it. Do not hide it under a bushel. Do not hide it under the rug. Do not hide it in the back of your closet. Whether it's a gift that you label as a gift, a talent, your authenticity, which is your magic, we know. I have done that. I have done that out of fear. I have done that out of confusion. I have done that out of lack of awareness and lack of knowledge of education of what to do with it. And I also encourage you to be responsible with your gifts, especially if they involve communicating energy, communicating messages to other people, because that carries a responsibility in it. And so when I have received messages from the beyond, so people who have passed and are no longer physically with us, and or psychic messaging that is about people here on the earth, still physically present, but in a connected way that I might not know, I would not know information other than there's an tapping into that psychic collective, whether you call it collective unconscious, like some of our psychological trailblazers have, whether you call it spirit, whether you call it psychic energy, that right, it is energy, and it is information, and it is important sometimes to, not sometimes, it is important to share. It is important always to be responsible in how we do that. And so that is something that I have been doing in the background of our relationship here on the podcast, us together in this circle of empowerment and inspiration, love and light. I have been taking classes, education, getting more learning and knowledge on how to use some of the gifts that I have not known what to do with. And so that is part of my experience that I'm sharing here with you, and part of what informed this podcast coming to an end. So as you know, I'm a love and relationship specialist. I'm a psychologist. I am a psychic medium. So I am in tune with psychic energy, meaning people who are here on the earth, and energy of souls that have passed away and are in the spiritual realm, whether that is right here, wherever you believe it to be. The one thing from episode 1, so wherever you have picked up the podcast along the way, and if this is your first episode, welcome. This is a fun one, and you are in for a treat. I 100% respect the choice to believe whatever you believe. And I have been told in my life what to believe. And I would never want to do that with others, right? So there's so many things out there. What I do encourage you to do and invite you to do is become aware, get knowledge, read books, take classes, find something that lights you up and learn about it. And then do magic. Do magic with it. So I, as a love and relationship specialist, I love to help people in relationships. I love to help fix relationship problems. I love to help people fix and heal problems, wounds, heal wounds. Even saying fix problems is something that I've avoided in a lot of the work that I've done in the podcast and different things, because one of the reasons I created this podcast was to be a voice and a light for encouragement to not wait for something to be broken before you start acting on it. And what I've learned is that at least in the circles and the energy of where I live in this area, I've been to other areas where the energy is very different. That in the culture where I live in the state of Pennsylvania and the surrounding areas, we have a lot of trauma in our land. Think about the wars that have taken place in this land, the colonization, and lots of historical trauma, bloodshed, and death that has seeped into the land, and the land can hold that. And sometimes we can feel stuck in that. It's knowing about it that can be very helpful to heal it, right? And so for me, I have always wanted to help people be more proactive in life and not wait for something to be broken before you decide or need to invest energy into fixing it. And I know that that's not always possible, right? That's not culturally always the mainstream way to go. I know, and I can feel and I can sense that is energetically shifting. We've heard that from astrological experts. We've heard that from people in tune with the spiritual energy. And we know that even through looking at generational patterns, that our younger generations, thankfully, on some level, we are teaching them new ways to live in this world in a way that is respectful of each other and the land. And of course, we don't see that. There's a lot of stuff right now going on in our world that is tragic and traumatic and malicious and awful. And be with me in the spirit of hope. Be with me in the spirit of growth. Be with me in the spirit of healing and flying and shining our light, and knowing deep down that there is a shift happening. It has already begun, and the veil is lifting. I've talked about this before on this podcast, and I love that we're seeing energy of that. So hold on to that hope with me and be a part of the upward lift. Be a part of the expansion and the elevation. Be a part of the movement to be yourself and tap into your authenticity rather than hiding it. from shame or fear. I am walking that walk every day, and sometimes I do it better than others, and sometimes it's really scary. And sometimes you take the leap and you make a call or you send a message and you say, I got a message for you. And I don't know if you're into this. I don't know if you want it, but I have it. And if you want it, if you're interested and you want to hear this message from beyond, I would love to share it with you. And by doing that, taking that leap and reaching out and sharing my gift, it was an amazing experience. I could feel it. I could sense it. I felt this deep spreading of love, this uplifting energy to know this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. This is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And it feels so good. It feels so good. And I don't know what it looks like. I have a vision. You've heard me before talk about my vision of going around. So I use the term flitting about. So I one time had this reading when I was in a class of mediumship, and we were learning how to do it, and we were practicing with other students. And if you also know me, you've been around that. If I would say a bit perfectionistic. I'm trying to shed that. This is the year of shedding things that don't always work for us. I am trying to shed some of that perfectionistic energy and go with the ambiguous energy that is spirit. And I had a reading and I was getting frustrated because what was coming through to me wasn't landing with the woman I was working with, Faye. And I was just like, okay, let's just pause and we'll switch. And we switched, and Faye was doing a reading for me. And one of the messages that Faye brought to me, because it's about the messages, right? It's about what the energetics are wanting us to know. Deep down, we're tapping into, this is something that spirit is wanting you to know. Whether you call spirit God or angels or a past life experience, the collective unconscious, an archetype coming through, a dream message. You can call it whatever you want. Faye was calling it spirit. And she was like, so spirit is telling me that you are just very much like flitting about like a little sparrow from branch to branch to branch to branch. And you need to focus. And I was like, I don't want to focus. I love flitting about. So I flit about, and I will never stop flitting about on some level. You heard me say it. I try this, I try that, I try this, I try. So whether it's me moving my body, flitting about, from branch to branch to branch, it might be from this activity to that activity, to this thing, to that thing. What I love about it is that I love trying new things, and I love not being bored. I love surprises, and I love delight. And what I've also noticed from taking Faye's message and holding it, even though I didn't love it, right? Like, come on, Faye. And I love her. Thank you, Faye. This is meaningful for me, so meaningful, and I needed it. When it's out of balance, when I'm flitting about without staying long enough to really truly know if this is lighting me up, or if this is serving the purpose, if this is helping me, helping you, helping the energy. If I'm not staying long enough, how will I know? How will I know if he really loves me? It just came to me. I had to do it. This is what I do. This is part of me. I break out into song. So part of that is beautiful, lovely, love it. I'm never bored, or I'm not bored very long. before I flit about and do something else. Where it comes in to be a block is when there's something I'm really, really, really wanting to accomplish. And these ideas or pursuits or try this, these little shiny little things are pulling my focus away from something that I'm truly, truly wanting to accomplish, like my book. Then it's actually not conducive to my authenticity. So, again, if you've been here, because I've shared it plenty, that I'm writing a book, and I have gotten distracted. This year was beautiful in that I created the Inner Circle program where we come together monthly and we work on our projects. And I noticed even in that there was 1 month that there was something shiny that took me partly during that session away from writing my book. And I was like, oh, there it is. There it is. Being able to notice it and even hear feedback from people who give it to me, sometimes lovingly, sometimes sarcastically. I've had to grow my skin a little thicker in this season of my life, and to recognize that when your gift is also out of balance, it can negatively influence your life. And so my flitting about at times is wonderful and beautiful, and at times it's pulling me away from something that I truly, truly am passionate about and will accomplish better when I am focused. And there was an energy that came to me over the summer very recently. I took time away, as we all do and should do. If you haven't taken a vacation in a while, do it. It's wonderful to not only just to leave your work for a time and play and rest and relax, but we went as a family to Georgia, and it was a different geography. It was a different land. It was a different energy. It was near water. It was at a lake. It was in nature. I walked every day. I was in the water every day. I was with my family every day, and things were shifting and moving. And then I came home from that, and there was more energy shifting, and there's lots of transits that have been happening astrologically. And I've been blessed with friendships like Emily to be able to shed light on those, and to watch her smirk when I'm like, guess what? And she's like, I was waiting for this to happen for you. I was waiting for you to do this. And I'm like, yeah. So, it's love, right? It's love when you connect with people, and it's not like it's not like she was predicting my future, but she was like, oh, this makes sense for you. I know your birth chart and I know this energy. And so surrounding myself with people who, again, speak my language and the language of love and uplift. It doesn't have to be the same language per se. It doesn't have to be the same expertise or area of knowledge, but it's the language of love and light and wanting to lift each other up. That's the language we speak here. And so for me, recognizing that the book is my focus, and I will be accomplishing that as I have stepped into the love content, the love and the identity of love and relationship specialist, although at the same time continuing to do the work personally through what I've talked about here before, TBM, which is to be magnetic, talking about how to live authentically in a very step-by-step process, but also energetically just being yourself. And there's neural reprogramming for when we are acting from a place, as you know, you've heard me talk about, are we acting from a place of woundedness, or are we acting in line with our authenticity, our values, and our vision? For me, that has been so helpful in doing that, continuing to do that work in my life. And so doing the money challenge, right, where there's so much overlap between, energetically, money is energy, there's so much overlap between money and love, and how we feel worthy of it all, worthy of energy, worthy of respect, worthy of reciprocity, that in that work, in that challenge, and not only me doing the challenge, but connecting with others intentionally, different groups that I connected with around the challenge, and also then energetically connecting with the TBM community at large. Even if I didn't meet these people, that there's the collective unconscious, there's the psychic connection of me and someone else in countries away doing a similar, like, let's lift the vibe of ourselves and our world and our planet and each other. Let's do it. And we're doing it together, and it's working. I was just talking about it last night at one of my TBM meetups in Philadelphia. I was talking about, we go around and we say, like, what's been going on for you? What were you manifesting in the money challenge? And for me, the manifestation was being able to be myself authentically and flit about in a way that helps me be me, and also helps me help others, because that is me. I love that. I love helping people with life and love and beyond. And so having the freedom and flexibility to do it in a way that is in line with my energy, to be able to follow the energetic waves of passion and when I need rest. And so being able to have a little bit more flexibility in how I structure my time I'm so excited for. And so some of that is the energy of looking at, taking inventory of what are some of the things that need to come to an end, that are energetically an investment of energy, right? And energetically taking your time and space, and looking at what did it begin for? So I'm talking now specifically about the podcast, and I invite you, as you hear me talk about this, to think of this as a relationship. This is a relationship that I have with the Empowered by Design podcast, with all of you, that has been the vehicle for me to connect with you. And it has been amazing, amazingly beautiful, a dream come true. I've loved I was going to say I've loved every minute of it, and that would not be authentic. There have been times when I was up at 2 a.m. like, I have to publish this podcast. It's got due today, right? In the beginning, I set out very strategically and intentionally to publish a podcast episode every week. That was my intention. And for a few years, for a few seasons, that worked. Did sometimes I have to sacrifice other things in my life, like time with my family? Absolutely. There were times when my kids were like, but do you need to do that? Right? Do you need to go do the podcast? And even knowing that is not what I want anymore. That is not what I want anymore. In this season of my life, I have come to see what lights me up is having my business, having my services, having the outlet for how I help, and balance and harmony in my life, where my kids come first. That's me. That's who I am. I am a mom. I have a couple of years left where they are in my home with me 24/7. Not really. They're out and about. They flit about as well. They're teenagers. Before they embark on the next chapter of their life, I am not missing important things. And I have missed some important things. And so there is where some of that motivation comes from. This motivation for my behavior is in line with my values of being with my children and seeing them do their amazing, amazing things. Their high school musicals, their color guard performances, their music recitals, their football games, their baseball games, their wrestling matches, everything that they do, and being able to be there, going to prom and all the things. For me, I will be there. And of course, I know life is going to throw things and be like, are you sure you're going to be there? Right? I know that's going to happen. And what I'm saying is I am noticing, taking stock, taking inventory of where can I close a chapter and pull the energy into the realm of I'm thinking about this right on the spot, right? Like if you're listening, I'm moving my hands as I do often. So I'm like holding my hands right in front of me, in front of my heart, in front of my soul, in front of my heart chakra, my throat chakra, in front of my solar plexus, and recognizing that I don't know what that looks like 100%. And I'm okay with that. I don't know what the next chapter is going to look like. And I love it. I love the surprise. I know that the decision is in line with my values and in line with my vision of continuing this important work of sharing all the things that I learn. So again, the podcast is coming to a close. This podcast, you know me and ideas. As I said before, you have not heard or seen the last of me. You'll be the first to know when my book comes out. I'm hoping. Not going to put a deadline on it, but I should actually. That's what I should do. I work very well to a deadline. But the book will be here someday, and you will see me and you will hear from me again. And if you are on my email list, then you already know. You already know some of these things, and you've already heard a little bit of these stories through there, even the one about sharing the gift of spirit and the message from beyond to my loved one. And I'm just excited. I'm excited. I'm here for it all with you. We are going to be talking, so a little bit of what to expect in this season, as I have lots of different ideas. And I am going to also allow the energy of what happens to be helping guide me. That is what I have relied upon. God, spirit, universe, talking it out with my friends and family has been so helpful. I'm always a proponent for use your circle, use your support system, use in a way where you are using with reciprocity, right? Like that infinity symbol where when I say use it, utilize your support system. Ask for the help that you need and be there for them in the same way. Sometimes, again, we go back to the out of balance. Are you constantly giving and never asking? Then you're out of balance. Are you constantly asking, talking, and never listening to be that supportive person? People don't always want a fix to the problem. Going back to earlier what I was saying, where in the beginning, I really hesitated to say, oh, I help you fix your problems, because I'm not a proponent of being a problem fixer, but it's what I do a lot of, because people come to me for that reason. And I hope and I trust that the energy that I have put out in an investment way, proactively, and the encouragement to not wait until you have a problem or that something is broken before you attend to it. You know, if you've been here, you've heard it. It's with marriage, the monthly relationship meetings, and going to the dentist, all these things that we do, taking care of yourself, body, mind, heart, soul, and spirit. I have ideas for special guests to come on and share their experiences and expertise with how we say a healthy goodbye, whether that is through grief after loss, whether that is through relationship endings and divorce, whether that is job related, right? Ending a job, noticing when our job in a relational way is draining our energy. For me, it is recognizing that I knew the end of this podcast. And again, if you're listening only, and those of you watching on YouTube can see me moving my hands, like pieces in the air have been coming together, and over just this, things have come together very recently for me to say, oh, it is time to close this chapter. Yes, absolutely. It wasn't time when the idea popped into me, several months ago, when I was very busy and I took on something new. I took on a teaching gig, and you may have heard me say this before of, I was talking to my kids about it. I'm like, what do you think? They asked me to teach this class. It's going to be on this night. And my son wisely at that time, I think was 15, and said, but Mom, you do so much. What are you going to give up? Right? Beautiful. From the mouths of babes. So in the spirit of balance and harmony and calling it before it gets messy and yucky and destructive, right? Any relationship, that's what I'm inviting you to listen to this message as: a relationship ending, a relationship shift. When one door closes, another opens. When we close the window, we can open another, and there's lots of light coming in. I am so, so excited about it. Rejoicing with our angel message of 808. The foundation for our future is here. Celebrate and trust in that foundation. Trust in your belief. Trust in yourself, your authenticity, and the relationships with the people that you love, and the energetics, and God, and source, and spirit. Those are the things that keep us healthy and light. Yeah, and beautiful, right? And beautiful. So lastly, do something special for yourself today. I invite you to do something special today in celebration of all that you have accomplished. This is a celebration, me being here with you. I love being in connection with you. I thank you for coming back time and time again, and for your messages and your energetics that you give back to me. I'm so, so thankful for it. And I can't wait to see you and connect with you again at the next episode. Take care.